Hi there. Okay, let's get started. I am going to show you the difference between makeup that makes you look younger and makeup that just doesn't help. So I have all over foundation on. It is a hydrating formula. So I'm giving my skin or both sides of my face equal starting point because I think a lot of the tips is about application and application of color. So you probably have a lot of makeup at home, and I want to show you how to apply that makeup so that it brings out your best self, you look the youngest that you can, and that you're accentuating your features, not decentuating or taking away or, just not making it flattering. So one of the biggest tips is, in fact, blush. So I'm going to just hold off on the eyes for a minute. And a lot of women will say, oh, I don't want to look like my grandmother did, where she had like big pink blush on. And I agree. You don't want to have just big blotches of blush, but you can do blush. And blush is actually one of the best ways to look more youthful. And I was trained by Bobbi that when you pinch your cheek, that color you get in your pinched cheek, that is your best blush color. So for me, it is this color here. It's called Desert Pink. And I'm gonna show you how to apply blush. So even if you don't know what color blush to have at home, for the most youthful shades, try a pinkish tone to get, from the get-go, and try and find one. Even if you're like in the pharmacy or the drugstore, hold up a blush that looks like when you pinch your cheek, that color. So I'm going to show you how to apply blush. So you're going to smile and apply it right here on the apple of your cheek, the blush brush, and I'm going to blend back towards the top of my ear. And then I'm going to swoop it down, almost like the letter C. So I smile apple, and I blend it back and down, down, down. So I used to sing this song because when I train, a lot of times I'm training to people in different languages who don't speak English. So I make everything very animated. So I would say apple, back, 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 down, down, down. Apple, back, 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 down, down, down. So you can see by that, it gives a really pretty flush. So this side of my face looks sort of flat and not as defined. And this side of my face looks more flushed and pretty. So that is number one. A lot of times I see women and they apply their blush like this. This is not going to help us. And they take it and it's like a stripe. And what that does is it just creates more of a chiseled look, which you can do contouring. This video is not about that, but you can contour, but don't contour with your blush because you can see it just looks like a pink smudge on the side of my face versus this side looks happy. And in fact, you see how the side with the blush sitting up higher, what side of my face looks more lifted, right? So it's sitting up higher and more lifted. Now, the second thing is lip liner and lipstick. So a lot of times I see women and they've got, 5,000 lipsticks and only one lip liner. Well, you want your lip liner to be within the same shade family as your lipstick. So I've chosen a richer, deeper liner and a softer lip liner that goes better with my lipstick, and I'm going to show you the difference. So I'm going to line half my lip with the right color, which is one of my favorites. It's called Pale Mauve. And this is a lip liner that matches almost my natural lip color. So that is a great thing to find. Is the lip liner that matches my lip color. And when I apply lip liner, I'm using not the tip of the pencil, but the edge of the pencil. And bringing it out. And the color is also sort of filling in, not just the edge of the liner of the lip, but also fading into the actual lip pout. Versus taking the tip and drawing a line See that? And then drawing a line, drawing a line. And it's still a pretty color, but it's more, it's just not as flattering to lipstick I'm gonna apply. And it's more of a harsh line. So do you see the difference? And now I'm gonna apply my lipstick in the center of my lip. Can you see the difference? So this side looks much more natural, and this side looks much more harsh and not as flattering. So right now the lip line is like a line and then the lipstick, versus here the lip liner and the lipstick, it all is one, and it looks much more natural and soft. Okay, now brows. Brows, brows, brows. You want to fill in your brows, okay? Because our brow hairs, as we get older, they start to fade out. So you want to find a brow color that is the color of your brow hair or the color of your root. So for me, I use a shade that is in fact a gray. It's like a taupey gray color, because I want my brow hair to be defined, but I also don't want it to go too orange or too ashy. So when I apply my brow color, if it starts to go a little too orange, then I know that it is not the right color. So if you have a richer skin tone, you will want to make sure, in fact, that your brow hair doesn't go too ashy. And if you're fair skin, you have to be very careful that your brow color doesn't go, you know, too orange. So here is a good brow color. And now what I see a lot of women do when they go to apply a brow color is they use something that is just too dark and they don't fill in their brow properly. So I'm using just sort of a darker brown, and then they're applying their brow, and they also don't just do a great job and really sort of just pencil it in, and it just doesn't look as flattering or soft. And I find the harsher the brow, it makes this look aged. It isn't flattering. It's not as soft and translucently, I don't know, pretty. So you can see here a stronger brow, it just looks heavy, versus a lighter brow is much softer and prettier and a little bit more youthful. So now when it gets to eyeshadow, what I want you to do is find shadows that are matte and are a lightish color. So I've chosen a color, it's called Shell, and I'm applying this color naturally all over my whole lower lid. And I'm applying that color just softly across the lash line and up to the crease, not beyond the crease. And again, just softly blend, 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 blend. What I see a lot of women do is they just have their eyelid, even, you know, let's say I put a little bit of primer on, and then I see a lot of women, they go right away and they want to see color in the crease. So they'll take a darker color, whatever color, usually browns. I find a lot of women feel safe in browns, and right away they do that outside color and in the inner corner, and they don't blend it properly. So it is a lot heavier, and it just does not, well, that is just like not attractive at all. So I've gotten a little bit of fallout, but even if I took a brush and I blended it a little bit, so I'll just take a blank brush, I find that women, they just apply color only on the outer half of the eye because they think that that's going to elongate the eye, and it doesn't, you know, it won't make their eye look darker. So what happens though is it just looks like heavy eyeshadow sitting on the outside of the eye. So it's not pretty. So I'm even giving this darker shadow a little bit of a chance here, and I'm only blending it towards the outside of my eye. And you can see right there, it just looks heavy and it looks like a chunk of shadow. It's not making me look more youthful or pretty or bright-eyed. It's just as a chunk of color. So I can even take a little chunk of my darker color here, and I'll just even diffuse a little bit. So again, we're in the same playing field, so you can really see the difference. And I'm blending that color with my eye open, staring into the mirror at myself and sweeping the color back and forth in the crease of my eye with my eye open. So it naturally gets a chance to come a little bit up onto the brow bone, onto the lid, and just diffuses. So do you see the difference? So this is naturally enhancing, and this is just sitting there. Okay, should we keep going? Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So this is another big tip, is I see a lot of women, they only line the bottom of their eye. So I think that a lot of times when I ask women why, because I'm like, why are you only lining the bottom of your eye? And they will tell me that they are lining only the bottom of their eye because it's easier. And if they feel that it opens up the eye, well, it does open up your eye, but you know what else it does? It pulls your eye down, because wherever you apply liner, you are accentuating that or drawing attention to it. So I'm applying liner now, and it's like a thin sort of smoky brown liner along my bottom lash line. I'm going all the way across. A lot of times I see women and they only apply the outer half of their eye. Don't do that. You want to apply liner all the way across, and that's what they do. So what I want you to see is the difference. So I am now going to apply the same liner right along the lash line, little soft strokes. And taking my time, I want to get the color right into the root of the lash and right up under the lash line, and pressing it along the waterline, taking my time. This is it's a harder formula. It's a waterproof formula. So I find that I have to do soft pressure and gently just smudging it along. Smudge, smudge, smudge. Almost done, everybody. I know you're like, okay, I'm watching a YouTube video. But make sure that your liner comes out all the way to the end. And sometimes too, do you see how I'm gently pulling on the end of the liner and applying it on the top? And look at that. Look at this eye. And I'm going to even actually apply a little bit now along the bottom. So again, just to give it all a fair chance. And you can see just by applying on the top only, this eye looks more open. It looks actually like it's sitting up higher on my face. Because if you think about makeup, you want to make your makeup make you look more youthful, and you want it to help lift your features. So by lifting your features, naturally, you look more youthful, you look more wide awake, and it definitely, look at that. So this eye, look, isn't that crazy? This eye is like sitting and pulled down, and this whole eye is looking much more lifted and up. So here we go. This is the one eye where I've applied liner on the top. I've got a wash of color on the bottom. And now this liner, there's no liner on the top and only liner on the bottom. Crazy. What else can I show you? So another thing is concealer. So many women say, oh, Kimberly, I've got fine lines. I don't want to show wrinkles. I just don't even do concealer. Okay, watch what happens. You're going to do concealer. I'm going to apply my concealer just on one side of my face, and I want you to tell me which eye looks more lifted, which eye looks more awake, which eye looks brighter. It's the eye with concealer. So I applied a concealer, nice bright one so you could really see the difference. And I'm just gonna use my favorite little full coverage touch-up brush. And I'm gonna stamp, stamp, stamp right into that inner corner. And you can see that right away, again, what eye looks brighter, what eye looks more lifted. Look at that. And it's the eye with concealer. So I always go back after my concealer and apply a little bit of blush because, you know, I love a good blush. So you can see. There we go. And I'm going to go back in and just touch up my concealer and touch up my liner. And look at that. Look at the difference. This whole side looks lifted and almost looks slimmer too. It looks prettier versus this side, right? It looks duller. My eye, you know, it's heavier makeup. I don't have concealer on in the blush versus this side. So much prettier and softer. So those are some very simple tips and tricks, and I'm sure you've already got the makeup at home that you too can do to help you look more youthful, simply, easily, just with a few tips and tricks. Thank you so much for watching. Huge hugs.